Welcome back, everybody, to the GR Wisdom channel. I want to thank new and old subscribers for tuning back in. Been having my communion all day, but I figured just doing some thinking early this morning, and the topic hit me that I haven't really talked about it, based upon some of the topics that I've done in the past. I think that it's only right and fitting that I speak on this, and it's something that many people obviously every day are going through, and they get hit with certain news, and whether it be death, a breakup, divorce, loss of a family member, is something that's just innately a part of the human condition as far as being a human. This can be an incredible life-changing event that destroys many people emotionally, and it can send people into a downward spiral, into depression. And I don't care who you are, no one is exempt from it. No matter how hard, tough you think you're a thug or a gangster and all this stuff like that, the only way to be exempt from this is that you not have anyone close to you. But that's, rarely difficult, even for those who are in jail or imprisoned or locked away. So this human condition is just part of the cycle of life, so to speak. It's something that's bound to happen whether you live long enough to see it or you are actually the one who passes away and someone close to you has to deal with the loss of you. Or you break up with someone, you divorce someone, or your parents die or whatever, your child dies, even things of that nature. So this is it's an incredible shock for any of you who may have experienced it, not experienced it yet, and some people who have experienced it still haven't gotten over it. Some people experience it early in life, which can be very hard to deal with for some people early on in life, but it can be, blessing in disguise, being that you've gotten that over with at a young age. So when it does happen in the future, you know how to deal with it, rather than it happens to you as someone who's in their 40s, 30s, late 30s, 50s. Even so, some of these people you hear die from heartbreak, which I guess they say that's literally, people die from that. You have people who die within minutes or hours of a loved one, which is strange. Things like that happen. These things, as far as grief, people go through these stages of grief. Me, I'm one of the ones, just to keep it a buck with you, it happened to me later in life for me. I never really had to experience loss till later in life. So as far as a grown person dealing with something like this, it really takes a toll on you, especially when you have to, when you have other things going on. You have a household to deal with, you have all other stressors, jobs. You have to make sure your kids are right. You have to make sure you're right. You have to make sure other family members are taken care of. You have to make sure your job is straight, especially if you're going through a divorce and things of that nature. But people don't take that into consideration a lot of times. And with me in particular, I'm just talking about my situation. I dealt with something called unresolved grief, if you're familiar with that or not, where basically, based upon a situation that happens to you, you just have a problem. You have an issue coming to terms with what it is that actually happened. And many people, like I said, they'll play tough like things don't happen. People, if you don't suffer from grief, depression, or pain, or all these other things, there'll be no need to take drugs. That's why a lot of people, a lot of these stars that you see and all these other things, the people who you think are so popular, that's why they're addicted to all these drugs, mood-altering drugs, party drugs, and they can't function, throughout day-to-day life without taking drugs, opiates, even harder drugs, narcotics that they're addicted to, that they need this because they're in pain somewhere inside, or suffering from some sort of depression or something of that nature. And like I said, that's just a part of the human condition. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Everybody deals with their things in their own way. But, as far as drugs goes, you'll try and blunt the pain, so to speak, or dealing with it. But sometimes it just makes it worse with these people who do this. So the beauty of all of this at the end of the day, for those people who they're just stuck in despair and all of this, is there's a point of discovery for you where you discover who you actually are at the end of the day, because you may have thought of yourself in a certain way before, but you actually discover who you are without this person in your life. Some people go on for years, just in anguish, crying, just the memory of this person, thinking about what they could have done, asking all these other questions. Or they should have said this, they should have said this. But the biggest thing about reality that you need to realize is everything happens the way it's supposed to. You can't bring anyone back to life as much as, or you can't, a lot of times with relationships, you can't make someone stay with you or behave a certain way. That's just the way it is. Things unfold in a certain way. And when you try to take other routes to prevent certain things, it's just going to come back full circle, because when you take a certain route to prevent certain things or to make certain things happen, you're actually taking the route to your destiny anyway, or the future that would happen. So by trying to take an alternate route or saying I could have did this, I could have did this, it's ultimately going to come to the same destination anyway, the same outcome. So that's another thing that we need to realize. When this happens, like I said, you discover who you are. Whether you lose a parent, whoever, significant other, it's like a mirror showing you your true self. It's the catalyst that activates this discovery. So you're basically broken from this dependency of this love or this whatever you had for this person. That dependency of that is broken. So the time is, what you need to come to realization is that you can only be dependent on yourself or a higher power at the end of the day, because it's just you at the end of the day, and you're going to be leaving this earth. And any dependency that you have on someone else as far as love is going to ultimately leave you. Whether that be they die or you die first, it's ultimately going to leave you. So and I said this in other videos, as far as your happiness goes, you need to focus on self-love and cultivate that. That way it won't be so catastrophic, so to speak, when somebody is taken from you for whatever reason. What I like you to know is that you aren't God. You can't change the outcome. And the way it was written is the way it will be executed. And that's just the way it is. It's written that way. So it's going to happen the way it's written. If you truly a believer at the end of the day, which many of these people think about this, you would understand this and know that you will meet up with this person if you believe in the afterlife, or if you separated from this person or divorced from this person, God has something better for you. At the end of the day, you can't get caught up in the five, what if this, what if that, because that just opens the door to more thoughts, and even bad thoughts, evil thoughts. What if, and you'll just beat yourself, over and over. You're beating yourself up over and over by thinking, what if? What if is just a completely different paradigm from the choices and decisions that you made. It's kind of like in the Matrix. And I always refer to the Matrix in my videos. But when he went to go see the Oracle, Morpheus says, things happen the way it's supposed to happen. You weren't supposed to see anything else or hear anything else. That's the way it's supposed to happen. But what people have the hardest part about, and they fall into grief and despair, is the part of acceptance. You're only in control of yourself. You can't control anything else. You can't control death. You can't control another person. You can't control who a person loves. There's no love potion. You can't force your will upon anything. The only thing you can control is yourself. If you're sitting back thinking about some other person, it's you focus. If you focus on yourself, if you put all the energy in yourself, building yourself up. Yes, it's I'm not saying there's anything wrong with grieving. By all means, grieve. But when you get to the point where you just can't let it go, that's dangerous. You're entering a space that is not necessary, and it's just going to keep spiraling. You're just in a never-ending spiral, and your mind in that point is your greatest asset and your greatest enemy. So you have to train yourself with your thought process of thinking thoughts that and acceptance, and that's the biggest thing. So that's pretty much. I just felt like I had to make that video for a lot of people who may just be dealing with some depression, or heartbreak, or just separation, loss of whoever, even loss of a child. So I hope you guys like the video. By all means, feel free to like the video. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. If you don't want to like the video, go ahead and dislike the video, or donate a couple coins to the Well of Wisdom. The link is in the description as well. Follow me on social media. Links is in the description. If you got any topics you'd like me to discuss, feel free to email me. All the links are there as well. And check out my books if you have a chance on Amazon. It's all on there. And keep your head up at the end of the day. I know that's so cliche, but keep your head up and just remember that where the control is at. Focus on what you can control, and everything does pass eventually, regardless. I know it's a fight, it's a battle, so remember, anything lost can be found again except for time wasted. So that's all I got for you guys. I'll catch you guys on the next video, and see you guys later. Peace.